backwards again. You're turning so slowly, we're facing backwards again. So lonely, I feel like we're going backwards again. You're turning so slowly, we're facing backwards again.
trying to tease the fullback Roberts. He's played it back to the edge of the box. Buendia comes into the area, shoots! What a fierce strike that was from Eddie Buendia, and Norwich break through!
I've waited here, it seems so long. I found the strength to carry on. I stand and fight, I run away, and now's my time. I'm here to stay. Tonight
Haia, Iwan Roberts ydw I, a da chi'n gwachad NR1 yn fyw.
Yeah, we didn't play that backwards. I think Ewan Roberts was saying, I'm Ewan Roberts and welcome to NR1 Live. And we've got a nice shot of a seagull there. We couldn't find a swan, so we had to make do with the seagull for today's game. And more importantly, he's back. Christoph Zimmermann is back in the side today for Norwich City. Been a big miss for them in terms of his presence on the pitch. And also Kenny McLean starts today as well. So great for those two boys to be back involved. And here's what else is coming up on today's show. It is, I promise you. It is coming. Here we are. We have the live warm-ups, which you will see. We're on the gantry. We have the big man himself, Grant Holt. In the Barclay, we've got Adrian Forbes watching the game. And with teammates, later on we're hearing from Anel Hernandez. A packed show, and of course we'll be listening to Ewan Roberts. I had a little interview with him earlier to talk about Swansea. And of course my right-hand man, besides me again, is Rob Newman. Good game for Norwich today. Swansea's a tough side. Had a good start to the season themselves and will play probably a little bit of expansive football against Norwich.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I think they've got a manager that's come out of the England setup in Steve Cooper. And I think their position in the table is warranted by their performances and results. So it's going to be a tough game, but it's a good game. You know what I mean? Like I say, Millwall was one of our rivals on Tuesday. It wasn't a great game, but we came away from it. Okay, clean sheet, 1 point. And let take us into the Swansea game where I think it hopefully will be more open. There'll be more spaces for the more creative players in Norwich sides to exploit, which there wasn't on Tuesday. But I can see it being a good game. But Norwich have to be aware that Swansea do possess a threat offensively as well. Nice roll net, by the way. You were looking to 007. You auditioned for that. What? I mean, my hero Sean Connery passed away this week, and it's just a little bit of a respect. R.I.P. R.I.P. Sean.
Love that. Thanks, man. Yeah. Well, you mentioned Millwall there. Here's the highlights from the game during the week.
On the right from Millwall, intercepted very well there by Lucas Rupp, but he's found Pukki and Norwich could be in here. Pukki's 25 yards from goal. Buendia available. Pukki up to the edge of the penalty area. Reverse pass to Stiepermann, who's in the box, and he shoots low straight at the keeper. Rupp gives the ball to Buendia, deep inside the Millwall half, being closed down by Romeo. Buendia keeps going, and it's eventually fallen for Stiepermann on the edge of the box. Can he make some room? Gets it back to Rupp, who shoots. Deflection! Oh, and it just goes wide. Has options, he's given it to Aarons, lovely one round the corner to Pukki, who plays it to Paqueta, who might have a shooting opportunity here, oh, he's hit the post! Decent effort that from Paqueta. Play continues, and the ball is given away by Millwall to Paqueta. 25 yards out, coming forward, tries to slide Pukki in the area with his back to goal. Pukki turning and shooting and putting it just wide of the post. And Stiepermann's got space to run into, and he's taking the game to Millwall, and he's found Buendia arriving in the penalty area. Buendia drives it straight at the goalkeeper, but follows up for the rebound, and it's hacked away from inside the 6-yard box. Aarons will get another go, lays it off to Paqueta. Cuts in from that right-hand side, Paqueta with pace, central position, 25 yards out, hits one, oh, that was swerving, and the goalkeeper, Wilkowski, in the end a comfortable save. Bennett away here for Millwall. Maybe there's a late twist here at the other end. Millwall bringing the ball into the Norwich penalty area with Bennett. He plays it across. Williams with a chance to shoot. Oh, and that one's hit the angle between post and bar and gone over. Krul was beaten.
And Rob, probably not the result Norwich wanted from that game in terms of a draw, but it's still another point. But they had plenty of chances again. We can see some stats here from the game. They had 27 attempts on goal, 6 on target. I mean, is that enough of a ratio to try and break a side down? They had some good chances, didn't they? You look back at that.
They had some good chances, but 5 of those shots on target were from outside the box, and that suggested the way the Millwall played. They couldn't find a way through it, like the little intricate passes. You know what I mean? So that's probably in future when you play teams that park the bus on the edge of the box, you can't get through them. So you're going to have more shots from distance and whatever. And of those 27, you know what I mean, you'd like to hire a ratio of about 10 or 11 or 12 even, because deflections go in as well. I mean, the only one there I feel was a clear-cut chance was Buendia's. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel as though it was a great little move. It was a good run, good control, everything right. I think he just hit it straight at the goalkeeper. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which, you know what I mean, is fine, but I think someone of Buendia's ability, he's got to be a bit cuter than that. Hit across the keeper, and Pukki was there for the tapping or whatever. But like I say, that's the way the game was. Hopefully today, like I say, there will be more chances where Pukki can get those chances, like the goals he scored against Wickham and Bristol City, like there'd be more spaces for like Wendy and Stiepermann and everyone to play those passes through. So fingers crossed it will be more open today.
Yeah, and you talked about Timo Pukki there in particular, and we can see some of his stats from recent games, and they've improved. And the most important stat, of course, is that goal scoring one, isn't it? You know, he's on form at the moment. He's scoring goals, and that's the Timo Pukki that we all know and love, isn't it? But it's about that service that he gets. That's what's improved.
Yeah, well, I think the 3 goals that he scored in the last against Bristol and Wickham were typical Timo Pukki goals. Basically, he makes great runs off the defenders. You've got Stiepermann, you've got Wendy who can deliver those passes as well if the gaps are there. But what Pukki does when he's on form, his first touch is excellent. His finishes. There's no panic about it. It's like a little chip or it's a little pass into the corner and whatever. That's what's good about Pukki. And I think, he gets frustrated sometimes, I suppose, when you play against your Millwalls and your Birminghams. That's so compact there in the back. There's no space for him to run, and there's no space beyond the defensive line to get the balls and whatever.
Is it a case of him, though, needing to improve his game, to add another dimension to his game to make him give him another option to score more goals? Because if he's not getting quite that service, does he need to be a different type of player at times?
He is what he is. You know what I mean? Like you say, you look at Hugo. Hugo's a big, strong, power, like 9B, we said. He's a 9A. He's the one that, if he gets the ball one-on-one on the edge of the box, he can create a chance himself and get the shot off.
Yeah, and somebody who talked about being a 9A and a 9B, there's someone going to talk to you now. I think it was probably a bit of both of those.
I'd say 9C, but we're talking about
9C. Well, that's Grant Holt. He's called you a 9C. I'm not sure what that means.
I was getting confused with the 9B, 9As, to be honest. I thought you were centre forward.
Did I just see you as well before you turned up? This everybody at home, can you listen to this, please? Because I saw Grant Holt drink a latte with a cinnamon swirl. I never thought I'd see the day.
That's the culture that's coming out of me, Darren, to be honest with you. And anyway, when him there, Ron Burgundy with you with his collar neck on, will be all right, I think.
Mate, let's look forward to today's game and the way Norwich have played so far this season. And you must look at someone like Jordan Hugill, who plays in a similar kind of style to you, yet he's not really had a great deal of service aerially. And that was a big part of your game. So is he someone that's going to be just an option for Norwich, or we like to see more of him during the season?
Yeah, I think it's just a different option if we're trying to do something completely different. As I said, Timo is Timo. He does what he does. He gets on the shoulder, stretches the match, stretches the defenders around, and that's what he does. Look, Norwich aren't a team that's going to put loads of balls, whip them in from out wide, but we've probably done more this year than we normally do. So for me, it's just another option that comes on. Look, he'll get his goals, he'll get his minutes, and he's a great addition to the squad. I said it's great to see Timo back where he should be. So, and I said I think the last few weeks everyone's seen the best of him again, to be honest.
And how do you keep players like Jordan Hugill happy? Because he clearly wants to come here and play. To not get as many minutes as he would like to, not scoring those goals. How do you keep players like that happy? Is it down to his personality?
I think so. That's what the recruitment's all about. We recruit players that are great for the squad. We don't do it just for one job. Look, you're going to come in, you know how many goals Timo got in the Championship, you know how many he got in the Premier League last year, so you know for a fact you're going to come in and have to fight for a place, and all he can keep doing is when he comes on, keep doing what he does. But like we said before, it's not about the team, it's always about the squad, it's always about the group, it's about getting the job done. And 2 years ago when they got promoted from the Championship, that's what they're all about. And I think you can see with the squad that they've got now, they're still doing that. They're continually, as a good group, trying to win. And as I said, it's been a difficult start, but they've churned the points out, and that's what we're looking for them to do.
Well, they have. To this stage of the season, they've got as many points as they did at the time they won the Championship. But you mentioned the squad a little bit there, and looking at the squad they have got now, the go-to man would normally be Alex Tettey when they picked up a few injuries they have done in recent weeks. But he's still on the bench, so that just shows the depth in squad they have added.
And that's it. It's just getting the formula right. As I said, we know what Alex does, and it's great to have him around. And when he's on the pitch, we know what job he does. So he's always there to come on and shore things up and get them ticking. But that's the squad, that's the depth that they've got now. And they identified that we probably were a light in certain positions, and they've adapted that. As I said, everyone come back in. Everyone thought we were going to get rid of all our players in the summer and we wouldn't have anyone left. And as I said, Ben's left, but the rest of them stayed. So it's a credit to the football club behind the scenes to keep them players here. And
looking at today's game, Holly, probably unexpected that Swansea found themselves where they are on the table so far. Probably from the outside, that's what it looks like. But they're a decent side, and they're not a team that's going to come and sit here at Carrow Road and just sit back. We wouldn't presume so. So that should suit Norwich.
No, absolutely. Look, they're a better side than the table suggests. They've got some good players that can hurt you. They're a side that's probably merging together, trying to build. And I would have thought as the weeks go on, they'll get stronger and stronger. So this will be a really tough test today. As I said, for Norwich, we just need to keep doing what we're doing. They'll try and move the ball and try and keep it, and we've got to capitalise on that. Top man Holt, we'll speak to you at half-time. Enjoy the game. Thank you. And we just saw Andre Ayew there as a big part of Swansea's squad. I mean, I'd imagine he would have been a fairly hefty price to keep hold of because he has got Premier League history.
but he's scoring goals for him. He's invaluable to him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's a quality player, and I think, you know what I mean, like you look at Swansea's like team sheet, they've got players that have got Premier League experience. You know what I mean, as much as Norwich really. So, like I say, like Holt's just said, this is going to be a tough test for Norwich. You know what I mean, like this team of Swansea now, they're looking to get back in the Premiership, and you look at the team that they're putting out today. You know what I mean. Arguably, a lot of them have been played in Premier experience.
I think we can get a look at Swansea's squad hopefully in just a moment. You know, it'd be nice to see the squad they have got, because there are some players in there that are well known to Norwich as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's Kyle Norton, of course. There's Kyle Norton. There's Ryan Bennett, of course, and Corey Smith as well. Yeah. So 3 players that are well known to Norwich and know Norwich well. So is that an advantage of it for a team with players coming back and know how Norwich play and the way they do things?
I think the 3 of those, you mean, never left on bad circumstances. I think players come back if they've got a point to prove, if they feel as though they were hard done by and being let go. Yeah. I don't think those 3 have. They went on to move to arguably clubs in higher divisions and whatever, or just never happened here for whatever reason. But what they are 3 good players, and they've come back here and they know the environment. They'll probably have some friends in and around the Norwich squad that they still speak to regularly as well. Like, you know what I mean? So it will be a case of putting one over on them. But take like nothing for granted here. I mean, like, Swansea will be a good test.
And Ryan Bennett in particular, he's a player that I guess probably didn't feel as if when he was here he had the opportunities and to do what he did as a Norwich player. He then moved on to Wolves and obviously then to Leicester, and he's now at Swansea. So he's someone who's going to come back and want to put one over on Norwich, and he's a good example of that.
He'd probably be the one to say, right, listen, I'll show what they've missed here as well, because like I say, he did go on to Wolves, and he was part. And Wolves are a good side now, and he was probably when they started to build all these players and buy all these players from mainly Portugal and whatever. He kept his place initially. It's only in the last couple of years that he lost his place. Then he went on to Leicester, which again is testament to how Leicester think how good he is. You know what I mean, coming from there, staying in the Premiership as well, and like coming down into the Championship. I'm not saying he should find it easier, but he will be an experienced player in their squad. Yeah,
and of course there's someone who will know both sides pretty well today, and it's Ewan Roberts, and I caught up with him just a little earlier. We've already spoken to one big number 9 for Norwich, and they've got the opportunity to speak to another one now, Ewan Roberts. Thanks for joining us. You've got a foot in both camps. Swansea, they've had a good start to the season. Is that unexpected?
It was to a degree, Darren. They lost a few of the players that went back on loan to their parent clubs. You know, Rhian Brewster, Conor Gallagher. Freddie Woodman went back to Newcastle. They've managed to get him back on loan. Mark Gahey, the centre half from Chelsea, he's come back. And what they've done, they've lost Joe Rodon, who went to Spurs, of course. Big loss for them, but they've strengthened the squad. They've got better depth in their squad now, even though they've lost 1 or 2 players than what they had last year. So, you know, lost 1 in 10. They had a good start last year. I think they had 2 more points at the same stage last year. So Steve Cooper won't be resting on his laurels either.
Steve Cooper's had obviously under 21 history and 17s and 16s with England. Do Swansea set up kind of the FA way, the Southgate way? Is that we'd expect to see them play today?
He changed to 3 at the back after the restart. They lost to Luton at home, and then he changed to 5 at the back with wing backs, and they've not looked back since. To be fair, they look solid defensively, and that enables them then to play 3 up front. They've managed to keep Andre Ayew, who's hugely important for them. He's on a big wage, but he guarantees you goals. So he probably did, but before a bad run just after lockdown, he had to change something, and they've not looked back since going to 5 at the back.
No, and being an international manager before Steve Cooper, he was all 4 players leaving and going on international duty, so he could use them. The shoe's on the other foot now.
It is, you know, he's already lost Ben Cabango. I don't think he'll play today. He won't join up with the Welsh squad. And 6 of the lads who are in the Welsh squad for the next 3 games, they've come through the Swansea Academy. With so many games in a short period of time, probably anything. The last thing that a club manager wants is another international break, but this is the last one now.
Yeah, and of course, looking to your club that we all love, Norwich City. Good start to the season. They sort of started off a little bit slowly, but actually, in points-wise, they've done really well.
Oh, it's been a good start. Yeah, 4 points after the first 4 games. Understandably, with the disappointment of relegation and that short period to get over that with a new season beginning. But then since the last international break, 18 points. It's a good total, Darren.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Ewan.
Pleasure,
enjoy the game. Some beard that, never get bored of seeing
and
that.
Flat top as well.
Yeah, it's a good look. Look, talked a little bit then in that about international call-ups. So Norwich have got potentially 7 or 8 players going out on international call-ups. How does that affect things for your team now? Because they're playing so many games anyway. To have to go out on more, Is that a difficult thing to manage in terms of their minutes?
Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? And like I say, for some reason as well, international games have become 2. Now they're playing 3. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like they're playing so much football, and it's fingers crossed for the manager when these guys go away that they come back fit.
But it's also a benefit to some of those that haven't got match time, isn't it? Someone like McGovern, for instance. Adam Eadie has not got so much match time at the minute. Kenny McLean, who's been on the bench recently. So it can benefit as well to give them match minutes.
If they get match minutes. If they don't get match minutes, then you think, well, hang on, just have a week off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not getting match minutes here. So if they go away to the national, yeah, it's great being in the national squad and everything like that. But if they don't play, it's a continuation of training. You know what I mean? So, listen, I wasn't fortunate to get anywhere near an international squad, so it must be fantastic in a feeling that I'm good enough to play for my international teams.
I think that's a good point you make, because when I went international duty, you kind of came back with an extra added level to your confidence. So you come back into the squad, you've been on international duty, so it can massively benefit the squad and the players around you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But let me ask you the question, and yeah, don't get me wrong. You mean like being called up for your national team must be fantastic. It must be a massive energy booster. But you come back and you're all on a high and whatever, and you can't get in your club side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in your club side, brilliant, it's fantastic. But if you're not, you come back and you're on the bench. Is it deflating in a way that saying, well, I'm good enough to be called up for a minute, and I can't even get in my club side?
I can't answer that because I was never on the bench after international.
But you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I want to try to say. They're playing so much football at the moment. Championship side, Premiership sides. Tuesday, Saturday. When they have a break, you know what I mean. The manager would love for everyone to say, listen, have a break. Don't have no international games, but just have a break of a week of just staying at home and just completely forgetting about football, because they're going to be burnt out.
And it's not just full internationals as well. There's England under 21s, and Max Aarons is
absolutely.
away on that.
Yeah.
So how does he deal with that? Because it's a very similar situation, but he's going to go and play. We know that. And for him, it must be a very different situation he's been in. He's been linked with, the best clubs in the world. Still finds himself in Norwich, going under 21 duty in the minute. How does he manage all that in his head?
I think, mate, you mean when you're 20, 21 years old, 19, 21 years old, you can play. You can play every time. So what Max needs to do now, the disappointment probably is gone now. He never went in the summer, right, that's gone. He's got to concentrate on, like Norwich, getting Norwich back into the Premiership. But playing in those under 21 games, the norm's probably you're playing with a lot of Premiership players as well. So that's in the eye of all the top clubs as well. They'll be watching that, probably more so than watching a Championship game. You know what I mean? So he will go there, and like you say, he will play with the energy and the desire what he shows every week for Norwich. So I don't think that will worry someone like Max. The older you get, basically, then you do start feeling tired and everything. I think the younger thing like Max, he hasn't got nothing to prove. He's still young, and he will fulfil his potential. So I think someone like Max and Adam Eadie, if they play in their national teams, that will give them an opportunity to say, listen, I'm a good player, I'm going to be a good player, so watch me. And
someone who will know Max Aarons pretty well is Adrian Forbes, and of course played for Swansea as well. And he's in the Barclay for us today. You can see him at the moment, look, long shot. You're looking slick as usual, Mr. Forbes. Looking good, pal. What's it like to be back at Carrow Road? I know you've been back with Luton once already, but does it feel a bit strange?
Yeah, it does seem very strange, obviously. You're used to coming back here, obviously. I've got the noise of the music behind me, so apologies if I don't hear you too clearly, but it does seem very, very strange coming back here. The pitch looks beautiful, but you're obviously missing so much by not having the fans in the seats, watching the warm-up and getting ready for the game. So very, very strange, but it's all about what happens on the pitch and the football that's going to be played, and the fact that players now should be well versed on playing without fans here, and it's all about how they perform on the pitch.
Yeah, we talked about Max Aarons in the studio a little bit, Forbes. I mean, you obviously know him well from your time working with the Norwich youth team and things like that. So, what kind of lad is he? How is he dealing with all this attention at the moment? Because to be linked with the biggest clubs in the world, gone away from the under-21s, and he's still here at Norwich. I mean, what would be going through his head, do you think?
I think first and foremost, what people need to recognise as well is Max Aarons, the person, not just the footballer. He's a genuinely good lad, and whilst he would have been well versed and seen all the speculation and those teams that would have been interested in him, he would have known behind the scenes that the main thing that he can do is focus on what he does on the pitch, and providing he performs to the correct levels and shows the right attitude and work ethic, which he has done here, and obviously when he's playing for England as well, then we all know that those opportunities will arise again. As Rob's just said there, he's already shown the world what he's capable of, and he will continue to do that at Championship level, and hopefully he can be part of that team that gets Norwich back into the Premiership, and then there'll be more people that will want Max Aarons to come and play for him. But it's certainly not going to have been easy. You can't hide from the news, you can't hide from social media nowadays, so he would have seen everything and all the speculation about him. But again, the most important thing for him is that he shows that same attitude that's got him to where he is today, continues that work rate, continues that attitude, and he'll either become a bigger success here for Norwich City or move on to a bigger club and fulfil his real potential elsewhere.
And a couple of the youngsters you all know well as well, Darren Eadie and of course Josh Martin from working your time at Norwich. I mean, how far are they from kind of regular starting at Norwich at the moment? Because they're good players. They are young. They need to learn. They need to wait and bide their times. But even as a youngster, you know what it's like, Forbes. You got in the Norwich first team as a youngster. So did I. They want to play games, don't they? It's not what they want to be sitting on the bench every week. But when the team's winning, you kind of have to.
Yeah, you do, and it's hard for any of those players at the moment to stake a claim for the manager to put them in ahead of someone else. If you look at Darren Eadie as an example, if he's competing with Teemu Pukki, you're only going to pick Teemu at this moment in time because you know what he brings. Even if he has that performance where he's not necessarily involved in the game a lot, you know he's always going to create goals. But similar to what Max has done, the likes of Josh and the likes of Adam, they've just got to bide their time. But when that opportunity arises, whether it is an injury to someone or a suspension to someone, they've then got to go and grab that opportunity. Having seen them develop and having seen them grow up, especially Adam through their time within the academy, you knew that they had something special. You knew there was a talent that was going to flourish at this club, and they're just starting to do that now. But as you said a minute ago, we were lucky that we got into this club or this team at a very, very young age, and they will want to do the same. But it's all about patience and trusting the process now, and that process is the same process that has helped Ben Godfrey, it's helped Jamal Lewis, it's helped Max Aarons, it's helped Todd Cantwell. Adam and Josh are just another two that have come off that conveyor belt, and at the right time they'll get the opportunity, and it's down to them to take it when that opportunity does arise.
Absolutely. And you were someone that has, more than anybody, has a foot in both camps today, Forbes. You played for Swansea and for Norwich. You were the person to score the last goal at the Vetch as well, the famous Vetch.
Yeah, it's a strange scenario. It was my time there. You were in League 2 at the time, and we needed to basically win our last two games to gain promotion to League 1. Unfortunately for me, I managed to pop up with the last goal at the old Vetch field before they moved into the Liberty Stadium against a certain goalkeeper called Joe Hart. I don't know what he went on to achieve after that. And unfortunately for me as well, I scored the goal the week after 20 seconds, quite a nice volley from the edge of the box. That actually led to the team getting promoted to League 1 and then going into the Liberty Stadium as a League 1 club. So it's been great to have been a small part in their journey to where they are today, and obviously where they have been and the experiences in the Premier League. But they're a good club by their own right, and very similar in size to Norwich, and very similar in they're a family orientated club. And most importantly, it's great to see two of my former clubs now playing against each other today, along with a couple of others in Luton and Millwall as well. So for me, I'm looking forward to watching how both teams perform today, and having a foot in both camps. I'm not sure where I'm going to stand with regards to the result.
I was going to ask you a little bit later on, but for now, I mean, look, and as you mentioned there, Swansea are a very similar kind of club to Norwich, even geographically. I know they're the other side of the UK, but where they're situated, they sort of follow similar pathways and similar fan bases as Norwich have got, would you say? Is he there? Is he gone?
Yeah, sorry, I just got the back end of that and say the music's quite loud. Yeah, it is. If you look at fan base, ground size, now the size of Liberty I think is 22,500 when they can fit in there, and of a normal time that would be packed week in, week out. But I think having grew up at Norwich here, from the age of 16, living in the area and watching the club grow, Swansea is so similar. And even behind the scenes, the people that are behind the scenes, from the lady that's been making the teas, the gentleman that's been the kit man, etc., it's all been the same, and it's all been really fluid. And that family dynamic has been seen at this club and at Swansea. And it's no surprise to me that they've both gone on to be successful in their own right, and I'm pretty certain that will continue over the coming years as well.
Yeah, we just looked at some stats there, Forbes, of the two current teams and their recent performances. Swansea haven't lost away from home this season. They've had 3 draws and 2 wins. So, a difficult team to break down.
They are, and with the manager and the coaching staff they've got there, if you look at Alan Tate, who played hundreds of games for the club and is now as a first team coach, he'll be working defensively to make sure they have a real good defensive shape and are hard to break down, and that will come from the manager and his style of play. Yes, there'll be a team that want to pass and move the ball, which they have done for years, but they also want to be ruthless in front of goal, but they also know they need to stay quite compact whenever they're playing championship football and whoever they're playing against, because the beauty of the championship is anyone can beat anyone at any time. So yeah, they have had a fantastic start and got some real good performances and results away from home, but that's come from a real good solid team structure, which obviously forms a part of them hopefully getting the likes of Andre Ayew on the board to get the goals.
Fantastic. And just last question, Forbes, I didn't want to be asked it, but who do you want to win today?
I'm going to sit on the fence and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, Darren.
Top man, we speak to you at half time. Oh, look, we thought he was going to sit on the fence there a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we're just going to have a quick look at the team lineup for Norwich today. A couple of changes in there. Christoph Zimmerman is back in the central defence area. Rob, that's big for Norwich. And Kenny McLean steps in for Roop as well.
That just goes to show how strong a squad they've got. You know, I mean, they've lost Gibson and Rupp, who've done pretty well over the last few games and whatever. Like, these two guys coming in is not going to weaken the team. So hopefully, like, they're as strong as ever.
Yeah, and do you see this game going today? It's a different kind of test for Norwich. Probably someone's going to come and play against them at Norwich instead of sitting back.
You'd like to think so, but until I saw those stats where they've drawn the last 3 games, so you think, obviously they're very difficult to beat. Do they sit back and then try and catch teams on counter? We will see. That will be evident in the 90 minutes here. But like I say, the fact that they haven't been beaten away from home is real testament of an organisation, defensively, offensively, that they are compact and they're difficult to break down. So Norwich, again, they're going to have to be patient. But when they get an opportunity to play those passes and get opportunities, they've got to take them.
Yeah, and of course, we're going to have a minute's silence today for remembrance. I think before we do, we'll stop. Before we do that. But in terms of the game today, this is a big opportunity for Norwich to keep that decent run going, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And also it lays down the marker because they're playing a team in and around them in the top of the table. So it's sort of like it makes a statement for the rest. You know what I mean? Like I say, if we can turn over Swansea today, you know what I mean, that will be really good.
And a break now as well for international duty, so it's important to try and keep a running run or unbeaten run whilst that's going ahead.
Yeah, you know, mate, you mean like you say, you have a 2-week break. The worst thing is if you get a bad result or negative result, 2 weeks is a long time.
Yeah, well, we're going to drop off now just for a minute or so whilst we have the minute silence for Remembrance Sunday. We'll see you in a bit.
And thanks to those who continue to serve in our armed forces. Would you please join us now and be upstanding, everybody, for a minute's silence, which will start and end on the referee's whistle.
Just brilliant. We'll see you at half time.
Swimming at night, she's been calling to me. Hold my breath in the pool, but she's been underwater in the Indian Sea. I've been doing it right, can't forget what she said. When you finish with you, baby,